when I first started, Tejano, I was talking to Mando San Roman about this, and I brought it up because I wanted to bring it up with you.
Oh, okay.
When I first started Tejano Radio
Yeah.
in 1988, it was 80% Spanish, 20% English. The bilingual, the way we were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to talk 80% Spanish, 20% English.
Okay.
In 90, when the EMIs and all those started coming in, and Tejano Radio wanted to go general market mainstream, they started hiring Mad Mexico and all these top 40 jocks to come in and push the Tejano music.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of embraced the English culture. And you embraced the Mexican culture, you know. You learned proper Spanish.
Yes.
You were just talking about being in an opera. You're always challenging yourself, bro.
Yes.
But one of the main things that I think that really, really was awesome was that you embraced the Mexican culture to a point where you've become an iconic figure in Mexico, dude. And that was like no other Tejano has.
I'm like David Hasselhoff in Germany. No, yeah.
There's a difference between Mexican and this side, right? That embrace your style, or what?
Huge difference. But yeah, you know, I've always, even early on, you know, I kind of studied the genre and the industry, and more importantly, geographically, the area. Back in the day when Tejano was really, really big, you could work. You did San Antonio, but then you did Seguin. Mm-hmm. And then you would do San Marcos or New Braunfels. And then, so you could work like Round Rock. There were so many markets that you could go visit. And then after a while, all of those other little places, they stopped doing venues, and it just became the big cities. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do a career based on, you know, where you can longevity and whatnot, right? I think that if now Tejano wants to just do Texas, you'll burn out in 2 years. Because you're going to keep going to the same venues.
Places, yeah. And regional. You become regional.
Very, very regional. Yeah. And so it becomes harder to because, I mean, you got to reinvent the show. You got to reinvent wardrobe. You got to do all this other stuff. And normally in the industry, the bands work, you know, a venue every 3 months or 2 months. And that's just too quick.
Yeah. If do you think if when Tejano started kind of waning towards the end of the 90s and Intocable started coming in, all these other norteño bands, if maybe they would have changed back to 80%, 20%, you know, Spanish, English?
I don't think it would have mattered, Rock. Listen, man.
Was it the music then, or just
you know what it is, bro? It's this is my opinion, and I'm probably gonna catch a lot of shit for it.
No, man. Hey,
but here's my opinion. When you say Tejano, right? The Tejano music is in different regions is very different. San Antonio bands sound different than Valley bands. That sound different than Corpus bands. That sound different than a Houston band, right? So Tejano has a bunch of like subcultures. And I think that just calling it Tejano, the Border, my friend, has produced and continues to produce the biggest bands in the industry, bar none. And I'm talking 956 all the way, right? And I include Zapata with Ricky and Intocable, you know, from Duelo, Sólido, Joe Lopez, Jimmy Gonzalez, Más, Elida,
Bobby Pulido,
Roberto Pulido.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Frontera right now,
wow.
Secreto.
Crazy.
You know, so you look at all these bands, man, and the problem is that Tejano's become the San Antonio thing, and it's become kind of like Motown, where they don't want it to change, and it's kind of like, oh, you're not in this club, but the club really hasn't really, you know, they haven't evolved. They haven't evolved, and they don't want it to evolve. Yeah. They want it to sound a certain way. And to me, when you get it and you pigeonhole yourself in that, you don't allow it to evolve, because to a lot of those groups in San Antonio, our music that's Mexican music. It's more norteño, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like there exists that little celo, you know, pues you're not over here, you know. That's stupid, bro. Music is music, and to me, you know, if you're born here in the Valley and in the 956 and you're playing cumbias or whatever, you're Tejano too, bro. But the problem is now it's the opposite. Now it's like, you know what? I don't want to be that. Right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't embrace it. I'll never forget back in the day, and in my generation, the number one band